right, ladies and gentlemen, Pig Podcast, take three.
Episode 3.
There we
Take
go. 1, episode 3.
Yes.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
2019.
Good to see you, yes.
Woo! Totally excited for 2019, right?
Yes. Can't wait.
You gonna buy property in 2019?
We are already set to buy a new primary.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Big house.
that's right. Totally.
And I just bought a condo, too.
Yes.
In the Platinum building.
Oh, nice. Good job.
So that's exciting.
Awesome.
And I would love to buy more. We'll see how everything goes.
So, me too. I'm buying my cottage this year. That's my
Nice.
bucket list. I am buying my
Awesome.
cottage, and when I get it, everybody's invited for my party because it's going to be my 40th birthday. So it's going to be a party. Okay?
That's amazing.
But I think it's a perfect point because a lot of people are asking right now, do I buy right now? Because is it a shitty market right now? Is it a recession right now? What do I do? What are you telling your clients right now?
I'm telling them now is always the time to buy. People always say, when's the best time to buy? I always say yesterday, but you missed that, so next best time is now.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't do an introduction.
Oh.
Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Mortgage master.
Yep.
Tobias.
Real estate
realtor.
agent.
We do fun stuff. Realtor. Real estate agent. We do buying, selling, property management, and maintenance and repair.
Totally.
Yes.
He's living it, not just selling it. Okay, he's living it, knows all about it. And that's what we're excited about with the Platinum Investment Group here is,
Yes.
you know what? There's lots of people out there right now who are talking about investments,
Yes.
but they don't do it. Okay? They might own one property. He owns a lot, I own a lot. We've been through goods and bads, ups and downs, and we're both passionate about you guys having better lives. And I think better lives comes with investing in real estate.
Yes,
I gotta
absolutely.
say.
It's given me access to so many different things.
Yeah,
so many things.
You just got back from your family trip.
Yes, 16 of us. We talked about it last time. Went. Everybody had an amazing time. Couldn't ask for better stuff than spending New Year's in Mexico with all your favorite people and your family. And
dude, that's a bucket list item. That's something that you will look back on 30, 40 years from now. Like I remember I got married.
Yes.
We had an all-inclusive wedding. My parents, they're gone now, but I look back on that so fondly of being able to be away. That's a cool memory.
Totally, it's the best.
So you brought up something about buying property, and you ended up saying the best time to buy real estate's right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Second best time's yesterday. And I totally agree. And that may sound salesy and cheesy to some people, right? But let's look at the facts. Right?
Yeah.
Let's look at the reality of it because I agree.
Yeah.
100%. I tell people that all the time. When was the last really terrible market that you can remember?
2008.
2008.
That was a tough time.
Yeah.
Tough gig.
So, what was going on in 2008 that you remember?
That was like the biggest U.S. economic crash. They had people just giving away their houses back to the bank. They had a term for it. It was like a planned
What was it?
forfeiting of their keys to the bank. They would go in and they said, this is planned, we're claiming bankruptcy, you can have the keys.
Yeah.
And they had just horrible time in the States, and that trickled into Canada too.
Totally.
Not as bad, but that was a tough time.
Yeah, totally. And I remember, being in the mortgage industry, 2008, holy moly. We were doing 40-year mortgages back then, 100% financing. You could refinance 95%, qualify on some ridiculously low interest rate because stress test was, that's something that you got at the gym, like a stress test. It wasn't anything to do with mortgages.
Yeah.
And
I wish I could get that now. I would buy.
I know,
I would buy 10 more.
And that's what we were talking about, right? Because you go back to the absolute worst time that we can remember in our investment careers,
Totally.
right? It was 10 years ago, 2008. And would you have bought, knowing what you know today, more?
Yes, absolutely. And we were talking, that's when I bought my first house that I lived in. And the first house I lived in was also an investment. So we had multiple units in it. So that's how I got mine. And
I bought my primary residence. I bought my gadunk. I bought my house that I wanted to live in forever there. And I remember buying it for 2008. It was $550,000. I threw up in my mouth when I put the offer on it because I was so scared. But so glad I did. Your investments, we were talking, they've doubled, if not tripled in value since we bought it in 2008.
It's crazy. So in 10 years, I bought 220-ish. And I can't imagine that the house is worth less than 600, and we've seen comps in the 750 range. So double, triple. There's nothing I've done that's made more money than that
Yeah.
with ease.
Yeah.
You know,
and you do a lot.
And I keep busy.
You do a lot.
And I keep busy, but that thing is just a machine.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even count all the rent that came in, and that I lived for free there for 7 years because I didn't have a mortgage payment or utility payments because we had offset my living expenses with all these rental incomes.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's important to note, like, this is 2008. This is when people thought the world was ending. This is when we were buying houses, right?
And interest rates.
Well, they weren't terribly
They
different.
weren't terrible, but they weren't
great.
You know, they were higher than they are now.
Yeah, you were saying you paid about 5.5%.
I paid just about 5.5%.
The variable was probably around the 4 mark, give or take, 4.5 around that time.
And my dad said, when I told him, I said I'm going to pay 5.5%, he said, "Why is it so cheap? Take it and run."
Totally. You know what? And it comes down, I think what we're seeing is parallels, and that's why we're telling you guys this, because there's parallels from 2008 to now, right? Warren Buffett. I quote this guy all the time. I love him. It's good to quote guys who are like the richest people in the world.
Yes.
Right? But he always says, when people are fearful, be greedy.
Yes.
And when people are greedy, be fearful.
Yes.
Right? Now is a time when people are fearful. Now is a time where the media could say we are in a recession.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But what is a recession? Right? A recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth.
It's not that much, really.
No, totally. like the word is scary.
Yeah.
But a recession could be, you could have negative growth in GDP. You could have it of 1%. It could have gone down 1 or 2%, 5, 20, 30, and you would have that definition met. So just because we've had some negative growth, we can catastrophize it.
Yes.
And make it a recession and don't buy, crash.
Beautiful headlines and beautiful clickbait to
Yeah.
suck people in.
I like that clickbait.
Clickbait,
That's a good one. Yeah, totally. It is, right? But the reality is, when do you want to buy?
Hopefully now. Hopefully we've convinced you.
Yeah, totally.
There is no bad time.
No, I 100% agree.
The only bad thing is to be out of the market, because if you're out of the market, you miss all the upswings too.
True, because if you look at any downturn in the market, 2008, 2009, and Warren Buffett again, Jesus, guy, like, just read his book, okay, like, guy's smart. We'll try to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll get him next time.
Warren.
Yeah.
Warren, if you're listening, he's not listening.
Come see
not
us.
yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but he said when you try to time the market, if you miss the upswing, you're fucked.
Yes.
You time the market, even if you miss the downswing, some of the biggest gains are made
right after the downswing.
You got it.
Yeah.
Right? So you may miss the down, but you may miss the up too. So again, we talk about this all the time. Like, I like to say we're pretty smart, but I think but the reality is that we just took some risks.
Yes.
And held on.
Totally. And that's the other best thing about real estate. If the market goes down, that's okay. You're hopefully renting that place out. It's, we always recommend buy for cash flow or that breaks even. Yeah. And you just hang on to it. And if it goes down, it's always short term. If you look at the history, all the recorded sales history, real estate market's always gone up. And if it goes down, it always comes back up, and you just hang on to it, and it sustains its own debts, and the mortgage still gets paid down. So if it goes down, we'll give an arbitrary number, 3%. Yeah. It's a lot of money, but in that time, over the course of 2-3 years, the mortgage been paid down, makes up that money, the gross or the net income from your rents pays for that. So you still break even. And I always tell everybody, even if you hang on to it for a very long time, nobody's grandma ever says, "Oh, I way overpaid for this house in 1940. I can't seem to offload it today for what I paid."
I think my grandma said that. No, I'm just kidding. It's so true, right? Yeah. Hey, if you are a grandmother listening to this right now and you don't have a long investment horizon, don't listen to us, okay? But the reality is, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Totally. It's about longevity. It's about time. It's not get rich quick. That's bullshit. It takes time. It does. And cash flow. Make sure you're not buying stuff, losing tons of money.
Totally.
Right? Because then you can't weather the storm, and then you are forced to do something if there is a market adjustment.
Yes. And we had recently market adjustment. They had numbers between 7 and 10% released for from the announcement of the foreign investor tax. That was the time. We had a little bit of a slow market, 7 to 10% decrease. So we did have, recession type numbers.
Yeah.
But now from there, we've already recovered, everything seasonally adjusted. So same month 1 year ago, average prices are all up.
That's right. Yeah.
So our month to month numbers, October, November, December, are all up.
Yeah.
Above what they were the prior year, as well as the average sale prices in Hamilton for residential still over 500,000.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
I wish I bought more.
People sometimes say, "Oh, I'm waiting for prices to go down." I don't think that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And other people say, "Oh, it's a buyer's market now."
Yeah.
It's really not. When it's a buyer's market is when houses aren't $500,000 anymore,
right?
And prices really do come down.
Buyer's market is when there's a ton of supply on the market as well, right? And are you seeing a lot of supply right now, or no?
They say 6+ months of supply,
right?
And we're still in that 2 to 3 month supply level. So they call it more balanced, and it's still on the seller side of balance. So values are still up. Supply is still not like it was in days past of real buyers markets.
And I think another stat for that is there was an article in the Spectator that came out saying sales were down 26%.
Yes.
Right? But that's
transactions
just
is lower.
Right.
Yes.
That doesn't mean your house is worth